Betrayed and left for dead, I awoke in a Swiss hospital to find my husband had remarried, and my life was a lie. 3 months in a coma, 3 years of transformation. Now, reborn as Phoenix Gray, I'm back in Shanghai, poised to reclaim what's mine and make them pay. My revenge is a cold, calculated plan, fueled by betrayal and a burning desire for justice. But will it truly bring me peace? Chapter 1. The Pain of Betrayal. Under the harsh white light, Emma Sullivan slowly opened her eyes, greeted by an unfamiliar white ceiling and the sharp smell of antiseptic. She tried to lift herself up, but found her entire body racked with unbearable pain, as if every inch of her skin was screaming in protest. "You're finally awake?" A familiar voice called out, her longtime friend, Rachel Cooper. "Where am I? How did I get here?" Emma's voice was hoarse, her memories scattered like broken puzzle pieces she couldn't fit together. Rachel's eyes flickered with complex emotions. "Emma, you were seriously injured in a car accident. You're in a private hospital in Switzerland now. You've been in a coma for 3 months." 3 months? Where's Nathan? Does he know I'm awake? Emma instinctively sought news of her husband, the man who had promised to stand by her forever. A look of pity crossed Rachel's face as she tightly gripped Emma's hand, seemingly preparing to deliver difficult news. "Emma, you need to prepare yourself." She took a deep breath. "Back home, everyone believes you died in that accident." "What?" Emma couldn't believe her ears. "Then Nathan." Rachel handed her a tablet, the screen displaying a set of wedding photos. The man in the tailored suit, smiling brilliantly, was unmistakably her husband, Nathan Hayes. But beside him, dressed in an elaborate wedding gown, was Vanessa Klein, his company's recently hired secretary. "These photos were taken a month ago," Rachel said softly. "Less than 6 months after your death, they held a wedding. And," she paused, "Vanessa is already 3 months pregnant." Emma felt dizzy, her heart seized by an invisible hand. With trembling fingers, she scrolled through more photos. Nathan and Vanessa smiling happily in the house she had lovingly decorated. Vanessa wearing her clothes and jewelry, the couple flaunting their relationship on social media, as if Emma Sullivan had never existed. Impossible. How could Nathan? We were so happy together. Emma murmured, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably. "Emma, there's something else you should know." Rachel's expression grew grave. "I suspect your accident wasn't really an accident." She produced an investigation report. "I had someone look into it privately. The mechanic who serviced your car that day received a substantial payment and the source of that money." "Was it Nathan?" Emma's voice turned cold. Rachel nodded. "And the transfer was made the day before the accident." In that moment, Emma felt an unprecedented sense of betrayal and despair. What she had believed was a perfect marriage was nothing but an elaborately woven lie. The love she had been so proud of had crumbled so easily. "Why save me? Why not just let me die?" Emma asked through her tears. "Because I happened to witness the accident. I saw someone leaving after confirming your death, and something felt wrong, so I secretly arranged for rescue," Rachel explained. "I told everyone you were dead to protect you." In the days that followed, Emma sank into pain and despair. She repeatedly recalled every moment with Nathan, trying to find clues she might have missed, only to discover how thoroughly she had been deceived. Just as she teetered on the edge of complete breakdown, fate offered her a turning point. One night, chaos erupted at the hospital when a severely injured man was rushed into emergency care. Acting on her instincts as a trained nurse, Emma assisted the medical staff with emergency procedures. Drawing on her knowledge of alternative medicine, she successfully stabilized the man's condition. Later, she learned that the man was Alexander Blake, a renowned international business magnate who had been the target of an assassination attempt in Switzerland. Grateful for Emma's life-saving intervention, Alexander promised to help her start anew. "What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger," Alexander told her. "Do you want to give up like this, or make those who betrayed you pay the price?" In that moment, the tears in Emma's eyes gradually dried up, replaced by cold determination. She decided to accept Alexander's help, completely reinventing herself and beginning her path to revenge under the new identity of Phoenix Gray. 3 years was enough time for a person to undergo a complete transformation. Under Alexander's guidance, Emma not only mastered sophisticated business strategies, but also changed her appearance, voice, and demeanor. Her gaze was no longer gentle, but sharp and decisive. Standing before the mirror, she could hardly recognize the once kind-hearted and naive Emma Sullivan. "Nathan, Vanessa, you took everything from me. Now it's time for you to pay the price." She smiled at her reflection, a smile both beautiful and dangerous, like a phoenix preparing to rise from the ashes and be reborn. Chapter 2. A Powerful Return. At Shanghai Pudong International Airport, a private jet touched down smoothly. As the cabin door opened, a woman in a dark red designer suit stepped out. She wore sunglasses, exuding elegance and authority with every movement. This mysterious wealthy businesswoman called Phoenix Gray had officially announced her return. "Miss Gray, welcome back," her assistant, who had been waiting at the airport, respectfully handed her a file. "All the information on Hayes Corporation is here. They're currently seeking overseas investors to expand into international markets." Phoenix took the file, the corner of her mouth slightly turning upward. "Arrange a business dinner. Invite all potential partners, including Hayes." "Already arranged 3 days from now at the Hyatt Hotel," the assistant replied. Back at her prepared penthouse apartment, Phoenix removed her sunglasses, revealing an exquisite face. 3 years had been enough for her to acquire the means to change her fate. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows, gazing down at the familiar yet strange city, her eyes settling on the distant Hayes Corporation tower. "Looks like Nathan has done well for himself these years," she said with a cold smile. 3 days later at the business dinner, the elite of Shanghai's business world gathered. Phoenix, as a mysterious investor returning from overseas, naturally became the focus of attention. In an elegant emerald green gown, she resembled a graceful yet venomous snake, waiting for her prey to approach. As expected, Nathan Hayes soon made his way toward her. Now dressed in a sharp suit, he appeared more mature than 3 years ago, but also more calculating and worldly. "Miss Gray, it's an honor to meet you. I'm Nathan Hayes, CEO of Hayes Corporation." He extended his hand, eyes gleaming with the characteristic shrewdness of a businessman. "Mr. Hayes, pleased to meet you." Phoenix smiled faintly, reaching out to shake his hand. When she looked directly into his eyes, she caught a flash of confusion cross his face. "Strange, have we met before?" Nathan frowned. "Perhaps in a past life." Phoenix smoothly withdrew her hand. "I hear Hayes Corporation is seeking international partners. As it happens, I'm interested in investing in the domestic market." As they conversed, Phoenix cleverly revealed her powerful business networks in Europe and the Middle East, as well as her substantial financial resources. Nathan's eyes sparkled with greed, clearly developing a strong interest in this potential partner. "Miss Gray, if you're interested, why not come to the company for a detailed discussion?" Nathan enthusiastically suggested. "I'd be honored," Phoenix graciously accepted. Just as they were talking, a woman in an expensive evening gown approached, taking Nathan's arm. That meticulously made-up face was all too familiar to Phoenix. Vanessa Klein. "Darling, who's this?" Vanessa asked with a fake smile, her eyes betraying a hint of vigilance. "This is Phoenix Gray, an investor from Europe who's very interested in our company's projects," Nathan introduced. "This is my wife, Vanessa Klein." "Pleasure to meet you," Phoenix nodded politely, her gaze briefly lingering on Vanessa's stomach. "Miss Gray, you have such an extraordinary presence. Are you single or?" Vanessa asked with feigned concern. "Currently single, focused on my career," Phoenix replied coolly, her gaze nevertheless casually lingering on Nathan, causing Vanessa's brow to furrow slightly. After the dinner, Phoenix immediately arranged for an investigation into Nathan and Vanessa's activities over the past 3 years. The report quickly arrived. Nathan had expanded the company using the inheritance from Emma's death, while Vanessa had completely taken over the Hayes household, even converting Emma's beloved garden into a swimming pool. Even more infuriating was that Vanessa had spread rumors in social circles, claiming Emma had been emotionally unstable before her death, that their marriage had been troubled, and even insinuating that the accident might have been suicide. "Bitch!" Phoenix crumpled the report, her eyes blazing with fury. A week later, Phoenix officially visited Hayes Corporation as an investor. In the conference room, she eloquently presented several enticing partnership proposals that had Nathan and the board members thoroughly intrigued. "Miss Gray's proposals are very attractive, but we need to ensure our partner's strength and credibility," Nathan probed. Phoenix smiled slightly, taking a folder from her bag. These are some of my successful projects in Europe, along with relevant financial statements. For your review, Mr. Hayes. As she handed over the documents, her fingers deliberately brushed against Nathan's, causing a noticeable change in his gaze. This subtle interaction didn't escape Vanessa's vigilant eyes from the corner of the conference room. After the meeting, Vanessa found an excuse to stay behind and approach Phoenix alone. "Miss Gray, you seem quite interested in my husband?" she asked casually while pretending to organize documents. "Purely business cooperation," Phoenix responded calmly, then changed the subject. "By the way, I heard Mr. Hayes was previously married?" Vanessa's expression flickered. "Yes, but that's all in the past now." "A pity. I heard the accident was very sudden," Phoenix said meaningfully. "Life is unpredictable. No one can say what might happen tomorrow, can they?" These words sent a shiver through Vanessa, as if her inner secrets had been exposed. Phoenix seized the opportunity to suggest deepening their acquaintance, inviting Vanessa to lunch another day. In the days that followed, Phoenix maintained deep business contacts with Hayes Corporation while deliberately establishing a superficial friendship with Vanessa. She sometimes displayed elegance and charm in front of Nathan, while other times hinted to Vanessa that Nathan might have special interest in her. This way, she carefully planted seeds of distrust, waiting patiently for them to take root, grow, and eventually blossom into flowers of destruction. Chapter 3. The Truth Gradually Revealed. On an early spring afternoon, sunlight gently bathed the terrace of a high-end tea room. Phoenix sat across from Vanessa, the two seemingly engaged in intimate conversation while fragrant tea steamed in their cups. "You and Mr. Hayes make such an enviable couple," Phoenix smiled, her eyes concealing a playful glint. Vanessa proudly caressed her slightly protruding belly. "Yes, Nathan treats me wonderfully, especially since learning about my pregnancy. He practically worships the ground I walk on. How nice." "Unlike some men who fall for every new woman they meet," Phoenix remarked casually. "By the way, last week's business discussion at the Carlton Hotel, Mr. Hayes was quite engaged, wasn't he?" Vanessa's eyes flashed with confusion. "Carlton? He told me it was at the Hilton." "Oh, I might have remembered incorrectly," Phoenix feigned embarrassment, gently stirring her tea. "But he was certainly quite charming that day. No wonder he attracts so many women." A seed of doubt had been skillfully planted in Vanessa's mind. Phoenix observed the subtle changes in her expression with satisfaction, knowing her plan was working. Meanwhile, Phoenix continued to excel in her collaboration with Hayes Corporation. Her innovative proposals not only brought considerable profits to the company, but also quickly won the trust of the board. Nathan grew increasingly appreciative of this beautiful and intelligent business partner, and they spent more and more time together. One evening, after a company celebration, Phoenix deliberately stayed until the end, accidentally encountering Nathan alone in the elevator. "The moonlight is beautiful tonight," she said softly, her gaze somewhat dreamy. Nathan stared at her delicate profile, unable to resist reaching out to touch her hair. "Miss Gray, you always give me this strange sense of familiarity." Phoenix skillfully avoided his hand, but left an ambiguous smile. "Perhaps it's fate." This scene was captured by people Phoenix had arranged, and the photos were quickly sent to Vanessa's phone as messages from an anonymous well-wisher. In the days that followed, Vanessa's suspicions grew stronger. She began frequently checking Nathan's phone and schedule, questioning his every late return home. The facade of their loving relationship gradually cracked, revealing the ugly truth beneath. At the same time, Phoenix used her network to locate Michael Chen, the driver involved in the accident 3 years ago. Under a combination of generous financial incentives and threats, Chen finally revealed the truth. "It was Mr. Hayes who ordered me to do it," Chen confessed, trembling. "He gave me $500,000 to tamper with Mrs. Hayes's car, ensuring the brakes would fail on the highway." "Why?" Phoenix asked coldly. "Mr. Hayes said Mrs. Hayes had discovered his affair and threatened to donate all her inherited property to charity. He couldn't accept that." Phoenix recorded this entire confession. She calmly regarded Chen, the coldness in her eyes making him shudder. "Go to the police station and turn yourself in tomorrow. I'll provide you with the best lawyer. If you don't..." She left the sentence unfinished, but Chen understood the severity of the consequences. As her investigation deepened, Phoenix discovered another shocking secret. Vanessa's baby might not be Nathan's biological child. Through her hospital connections, she found that Vanessa had been intimately involved with a fitness trainer during the period she claimed to have conceived, while Nathan's confidential medical examination showed he had fertility issues. As the truth unfolded piece by piece, Phoenix decided to deliver the final fatal blow to these betrayers at Hayes Corporation's upcoming 10th anniversary celebration. That night, returning to her apartment, she stood by the window, gazing at the city lights for a long time. Her phone screen lit up with a message from Alexander. "Ready?" "Never been more prepared," she replied. The steps toward revenge drew closer, and Phoenix could feel the burning anger in her heart growing by the day. Strangely, though, when she closed her eyes, the image that floated before her was not the faces of Nathan and Vanessa, but Alexander's eyes filled with concern. "Focus on the goal. Don't be swayed by emotions," she told herself, not realizing that new seeds of feeling had already been quietly planted in her heart. Chapter 4: The Fatal Blow. On the night of Hayes Corporation's 10th anniversary celebration, the top-floor banquet hall of Shanghai's most luxurious global financial center glowed with brilliant lights. Business elites and media reporters gathered to witness this company's moment of glory. Nathan Hayes stood at center stage in a perfectly tailored black suit, radiating confidence, with an elegantly dressed Vanessa by his side, the picture of life's winners. What they didn't know was that a meticulously planned storm of revenge was about to sweep through. Phoenix arrived fashionably late, wearing a blood-red gown, resembling a phoenix reborn from flames. All eyes were involuntarily drawn to her. She calmly walked toward Nathan and Vanessa, a polite smile on her face. "Congratulations, Mr. Hayes, on your company's decade of success," she raised her glass in a toast. "Much credit goes to Ms. Gray's tremendous support these past few months," Nathan responded courteously, his eyes lingering on her. Vanessa noticed her husband's gaze, her expression immediately souring. The jealousy and suspicion accumulated over months made it almost impossible for her to maintain her elegant facade. As the celebration officially began, Nathan took the stage to deliver his speech. Just as he passionately reviewed the company's development history, Phoenix quietly rose and walked toward the control room. "Proceed as planned," she instructed the technicians she had arranged beforehand. As Nathan prepared to announce the company's ambitious future plans, the large screen suddenly switched to a shocking video. Clear evidence of Hayes Corporation's financial fraud in recent years, including tax evasion, falsified profits, and other serious illegal activities. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Nathan's face changed dramatically as he tried to interrupt the video but was held back by security. "What's going on? Who did this?" he roared, searching the crowd for Phoenix. At that moment, Phoenix gracefully walked onto the stage and took the microphone. "Good evening, everyone. I'm Phoenix Gray, and you might wonder where this evidence came from. Well, over the past few months as Hayes Corporation's partner, I've had the privilege of accessing the company's core financial data." Vanessa grabbed Nathan's arm in terror. "What's happening? Who is she really?" Phoenix continued. "But today, I'm here not only to expose Hayes Corporation's business fraud, but also to seek justice for a woman who was cruelly murdered." As she spoke, the screen switched to Michael Chen's recorded testimony, clearly revealing how Nathan had planned his wife's murder. 3 years ago, Nathan Hayes orchestrated a murder to claim his wife's fortune, and his accomplice stands beside him now, Vanessa Klein. The crowd gasped in shock. Reporters frantically took photos, camera flashes exploding throughout the room. Nathan turned ashen, while Vanessa trembled in fear. "Impossible! You're lying! Emma died in an accident!" Nathan screamed hysterically. Phoenix gave a cold laugh and slowly removed her carefully crafted makeup and colored contacts, revealing her true face. Though altered by surgery, the spirit in her eyes remained unchanged. "Nathan, it's been a long time." The room fell deathly silent before erupting into even greater commotion. "Emma, impossible! You're supposed to be." Nathan stumbled backward as if seeing a ghost. "Yes, I should have died if fate hadn't given me a chance to be reborn," Phoenix, or rather Emma now, said coldly. "I survived death just to wait for this day, to tear away your masks with my own hands." Vanessa had collapsed on the floor by now, but Emma's revenge wasn't complete. She turned to the screen and played the final evidence. Intimate photos of Vanessa with her fitness trainer and a DNA paternity test report. Nathan, she not only betrayed me, but you as well. The child in her womb isn't yours at all. This news was the final straw that completely broke Nathan. He turned to Vanessa, his eyes full of fury and despair. Is this true? Vanessa couldn't defend herself, only able to watch through tears as the life she had carefully constructed crumbled in an instant. Just then, the venue doors were pushed open as a team of police officers entered. Nathan Hayes, Vanessa Klein, you are suspected of attempted murder, financial fraud, property embezzlement, and other crimes. You'll need to come with us to the police station to assist in our investigation, the lead officer announced. As Nathan and Vanessa were taken away by police, Emma stood alone, feeling the weight that had pressed on her heart for years finally lifting. From the back of the crowd, Alexander quietly watched it all, nodding to her with pride and sympathy in his eyes. In that moment, Emma suddenly understood that while revenge might bring momentary satisfaction, what truly heals the wounds of the heart is the courage to begin anew, and those who choose to protect her, even in darkness. Chapter 5. Rising from the Ashes. A year later, on a sunny spring day with nature in full revival, Emma stood outside the courthouse listening to the final verdict. Nathan Hayes was sentenced to 15 years in prison for attempted murder and financial fraud. Vanessa received 8 years for conspiracy and fraud. Justice had finally prevailed, but Emma felt surprisingly calm. The flames of revenge had burned out, leaving only anticipation and longing for a new life. How do you feel? Alexander walked to her side and asked softly. Honestly, not as satisfying as I imagined. Emma smiled slightly. But I can finally let go of the past. Over the past year, with Alexander's support, Emma had officially returned to the business world under her real name, taking over her family business and developing it to even greater heights. The Phoenix Gray created for revenge had completed her mission. Today's Emma was more mature and stronger, while also rediscovering the warmth and hope of life. Where would you like to go to celebrate today? Alexander asked, taking her hand. Throughout this year, Alexander had steadily supported her, providing the most solid backing in both business decisions and emotional comfort. From initial business partners to soulmates, their relationship had deepened through shared experiences. Let's go home, Emma said. Home was a villa she had recently purchased, away from the city's bustle, with a spacious garden and bright sunshine. Here there were no shadows of the past, only new beginnings. Back at home, Alexander suddenly knelt on one knee and produced a diamond ring. Emma, after everything we've been through, I'm more certain than ever that you're the person I want to spend my life with. Will you marry me? Tears welled in Emma's eyes, this time not from sadness but from happiness. I will. 3 months later, surrounded by the blessings of friends and family, Emma wore a white gown embroidered with a phoenix pattern, holding a simple yet warm wedding with Alexander. At the wedding, she specially invited Rachel, the friend who had helped her in her darkest hour, to be her bridesmaid. The person who had extended a helping hand when she needed it most had also found her happiness. Standing at the center of the wedding stage, Emma looked around at the faces full of sincere blessings and felt a warmth flood her heart. This was completely different from Nathan and Vanessa's wedding, full of falsehood and lies. Here, every emotion was genuine and pure. I once thought love was the most fragile thing in the world, she said emotionally in her wedding speech. But now I understand that true love is much more resilient than I imagined. It isn't destroyed by betrayal, but becomes stronger after weathering storms. Alexander held her hand tightly, his eyes full of tenderness. What I love is not only your strength, but also that kindness and hope deep in your heart that never died. After the wedding, Emma decided to donate part of her fortune to a charity that helps women suffering from domestic violence and marital crises, hoping to assist more women in situations similar to her past self. She knew well that more powerful than revenge is transforming pain into the drive to help others. A few months later, Emma's company welcomed new development opportunities. With her keen business insight and Alexander's international resources, she successfully expanded into overseas markets, multiplying the company's value several times over. Former colleagues who had gloated after her death and sided with Nathan could now only look enviously at her success. One evening, Emma visited the site of the accident alone. More than 3 years had passed, and no trace of the incident remained. Traffic flowed, life continued as normal. She stood quietly for a while, as if saying goodbye to her old self who had nearly lost her life here. "What made you want to come here suddenly?" Alexander appeared behind her, asking gently. "I wanted to completely reconcile with the past." Emma smiled as she turned around. "That accident nearly took my life, but it also gave me a chance to rediscover myself and this world. Sometimes I even think that without that accident, I might never have met you." Alexander drew her into his embrace. Fate is indeed unpredictable sometimes. What matters is that regardless of what we experience, we can grow from pain and find hope in despair. On the way home, Emma received a special package, a letter of remorse from Nathan, forwarded by the prison. In it, he detailed his crimes from years ago and expressed deep regret. She read it calmly, neither forgiving nor harboring more hatred, simply preserving the letter as an important lesson in life. 2 years later, Emma welcomed the fruit of her love with Alexander, a healthy baby girl. As she held the infant in her arms, looking at that innocent little face, all hatred and darkness seemed dispelled by this new life's purity. "What should we name her?" Alexander tenderly caressed his daughter's cheek. Emma thought for a moment, her eyes shining with determination. "Let's call her Hope. No matter what storms the future holds, may she always be filled with hope, like a phoenix reborn." The evening sunlight streamed through the windows, bathing the family of 3 in warm, bright light. Emma knew that every hardship in life was meant to make her stronger. Every betrayal was meant to make her cherish true love more dearly. She had once been a betrayed wife, then Phoenix Gray born for revenge. But now she was simply Emma Sullivan, a woman who still believed in love and hope after weathering storms. Her story, like the legend of the Phoenix, ended in ashes but was reborn in flames. True revenge isn't destroying others, but surpassing your former self and living a brilliant new life. This is the most perfect retribution. The end.